Are we just doing audio?
Yeah. I'm gonna keep that. I'm keeping that, and I'm keeping me saying I'm keeping it.
No, if you ever watch the big podcast, then like the intro will often be them just like talking about how the podcast is about to happen.
What up, guys? This is the Kas Show. I'm here today with super funny guy Michael Drake. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, motherfuckers? How are you?
We don't curse on here, but thank you for that.
I'm probably gonna curse a bunch more times, just so you know.
All right, cool. Comedian Michael Drake joining us. Good to have you, man.
Good to be here, man. Haven't seen you in a minute.
All right, so since last week, one of the things that happened was John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, All-Stars, both got injured. Their fill-ins are Andre Drummond and Paul George. Andre Drummond tweeted last week, I guess I got to start doing backflips to get noticed. No, all you have to do is injure John Wall. That's all. That's all you had to do.
Yo, they say that's how Reggie Bush made it at USC. The guy ahead of him got hurt, and then he broke out and like killed it. So, you know, maybe that's his ticket to the All-Star game.
That's everyone's ticket to the All-Star game, is just injure the person ahead of you, always. I want to talk about Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson, some of you may not know, dated Kendall Jenner, player on the Lakers, got one vote. This year, it's usually a 100% fan vote. This year, they split it between media, fans, and players, and you could see all the players' votes. Jordan Clarkson, we know you voted for yourself. We know.
But you would do the same thing, though. Like,
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
100%. I could be, if I was JaVale McGee,
yeah.
I would vote for myself.
And nobody knows who that is.
Well, Mike doesn't know who that is.
I didn't know who that was. I just think it's funny that, like, my favorite part of that is that, like, somewhere that's all written down, all-star votes, and it doesn't matter who voted for you, but when they look back on your career after you retire, it will go in the books that you got an all-star vote.
You got a all-star vote.
That's a highlight of your career.
If you go on Jordan Clarkson's Wikipedia page, one all-star vote.
One person, even though it was him.
Also in NBA news, all-star news, Russell Westbrook got very heated that he was the last pick. He looked at the sheet, and the sheet was in alphabetical order. And he saw what team he was on, and he was like, Westbrook last! Ugh. And people had to inform him, no, it's in alphabetical order. Realistically, he was probably picked first. Out of all the reserves, I think Westbrook's the best.
He's pretty solid. I mean, how do you feel about Carmelo on Oklahoma right now?
I don't want to talk about Carmelo.
You don't want to talk about that? No, man.
We got a Knicks fan. He's like, how can I bring up the three things I know? I think you're a Syracuse fan.
I'm a Syracuse fan.
You became a Knicks fan, and
I was a Denver fan for a minute, and then
you just follow Carmelo.
And now I'm a Charlotte fan because that's the city I live in, which I'm not doing well fandom wise. All right.
So we're gonna go on to the NFL. I think there's a game happening this weekend.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But before I do that, we have to talk about this Blake Griffin trade. Blake Griffin was just paid heavy by the Clippers, and they traded him for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and a couple of draft picks. And I honestly, I think the Clippers won this trade. Honestly, the Clippers got a lot for an injury-prone forward who really hasn't been to the All-Star in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But if you're Detroit, it sucks because you have to do that because Blake Griffin's not coming to Detroit.
What kind of position is Detroit in right now? Like
they're 9 in the East.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them in a couple of years. The last time I heard about Detroit, this is coming from somebody who doesn't watch a lot of NBA, is during the Pacers fight. That to me it will always be Detroit.
Well then.
Yeah.
Do you know what year it is? 2018.
I know it's 2018.
All right, good.
Yeah.
The Pro Bowl was cool. You watch any of the Pro Bowl? Watch any of the Pro Bowl events?
I watched the game. I didn't watch the events, but I heard about
Dodgeball was cool. Dodgeball was my favorite thing. It came down to the Carolina kicker, I don't know his name, and Jarvis Landry. And Landry caught a ball to win the game. And honestly, as a Dolphin fan, he should do that more often.
He was on my fantasy team, man. He actually did pretty well for me this year. But I think it's kind of funny that, the final two people were a receiver. That makes sense because they catch balls. And a kicker was the other one.
He was hiding in the back the whole time. What's your name? Graham? Gano?
Gano, yeah.
Gano, you were hiding. I was last on. You were kind of hiding in the back the whole time.
So he's that kid in gym class who, just stands in the corner during dodgeball and doesn't play until you force him to, you know? That's pretty
So he's you.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
If the two of us were in that game,
exactly.
We would have been Graham Gano.
If I were to play any position in the NFL, it would be kicker, so... Right.
So I want to talk about some prop bets. There are a lot of very cool prop bets. These are some of my favorites.
Prop bets for what?
For the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl.
Probably.
Super Bowl is happening. We were joking earlier.
Yeah,
that was the big game that's happening
You can't
this weekend.
see us, so I don't know if that came across.
What color will Pink... I'm going to give you the answers for some of these prop bets. My favorite one, what color will Pink's hair be?
See, I know what you want to say. I know you want to say pink.
Obviously, it's going to be pink.
But
obviously,
have you seen it recently? She wears blonde a lot. She's like a blonde woman now.
5-4, bet pink.
5-4. You know, I would take that. Yeah.
Bet pink.
I would bet against that, but, you know.
Times Dilly is said during the broadcast. The over-under is 12.5, and you can't say Dilly once. It's Dilly.
Right.
So all they have to do is bring it up 7 times.
Right. So is that... Okay, we talked about this the other day, though. Is that... Like, does that include commercials, or is that during the game?
It's just during the broadcast.
I what sports book is giving you 12.5? Or did you just make this up?
This is all courtesy of The Ringer. Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
This is a real thing. I think there's no way that they say dilly 7 times. Because it's going to get worn out. You say it like 3, maybe 4 times.
Okay, but what if one commentator says dilly and the other one says dilly, that counts as 4.
That does, true. But I have a feeling that there's not going to be a whole lot of that. Because, like, aren't you not allowed to advertise, like, you can advertise during the broadcast, but aren't there, like, laws that, like, the broadcasters can't, like, say ads? I don't even know.
I wouldn't know. I'm just an advertising major.
Yeah. Still, I think it's ridiculous.
What color will Belichick's shirt be? That one's easy. He's going to be wearing a hoodie, so that one's invalid. I'm not even going to answer that one.
Okay.
Gray.
Well, what color's the hoodie?
Gray.
Gray hoodie.
Gray.
I say blue.
There is a first quarter line for just the Patriots, and it's 9.5. And you should bet the under. And this is probably the only sports information we're going to give to you this whole podcast.
9.5.
Tom Brady has never scored a touchdown in the first quarter of a Super Bowl.
Okay, so has he never passed for a touchdown, or have the Patriots never scored a touchdown? Because if they run for it, they got Rex Burkhead, they got LeGarrette Blount. They can do a lot with that. Like,
LeGarrette Blount is on the Eagles. I'm glad I'm doing this with you.
No, are you sure?
Yes.
Didn't LeGarrette Blount get traded?
No, LeGarrette Blount is on the Eagles, and now they have Jay Ajayi also, and it doesn't matter.
Okay. No, you're right, yeah. Yeah, I just remembered.
We do a lot of research for this show.
I played fantasy all season. I should know that. Still, though, Rex Burkhead has been crushing it. James White, he's been doing really well. I mean, James White's more of a receiving back.
So you'd bet the over?
I'm not sure I would bet the over, but it's not as simple as
10 points is a lot in a quarter.
Yeah, but they can rush for it. They can do all sorts of stuff.
MVP, obviously Brady. Obviously, is it?
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this: if the Eagles win,
still Brady.
No, but if the Eagles pull it out, is the MVP necessarily Nick Foles?
No, it could be like if a defensive player gets a pick at the end.
Okay,
it's
so
going to be it's going to be that player.
Let's
or Jay Ajayi. If Jay Ajayi rushes for
right.
200 yards and scores a touchdown, then it's going to be impossible to not give it to Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, but he's not the lead back in.
He is. He's up against LeGarrette Blount, who you didn't even know was on the team a minute and a half ago.
Wendell Smallwood. They got all sorts of guys coming in to do reserve. And
Wendell Smallwood.
I kind of wanted to just say Wendell Smallwood. I got to be honest.
Was that from fantasy like 4 years ago?
No, people had him on his team this year. I swear to God. All right, okay, but no. So you think Jay Ajayi then, if the Eagles win?
I think if the Eagles win, you either have to give it to... Yeah, I think you got to give it to Jay Ajayi, because I think Jay Ajayi is going to do a lot. I think they're not going to have a lot... Because I don't think they played the Titans, they played Jaguars. They haven't really gotten a back... Like, Ajayi is patient.
Right.
I feel like those other two backs aren't as patient as Ajayi is. And
yeah, I don't know.
Because he could hit you hard, and he could also, like, he has that, like, Le'Veon Bell style, where he can, like, wait for it, and then when something happens, he just goes.
Wait for the holes to
open.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Okay.
There's also total points scored by both teams in the first quarter versus the temperature in Minnesota. You gotta go. Man. Oh, I don't even know. It might be negative.
Tough
it could be negative.
Yeah.
If it's negative, then you automatically win that one.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, that's a tough one. I don't know.
It should be about 10 degrees. That's the weather forecast.
Okay.
Courtesy of weather.com.
I would go... Oh, man. I would probably go total points in the first quarter. Because they're going to be feeling each other out in the first quarter. And if nothing else, I think the Eagles are... Because, like, the way the Patriots operate in Super Bowls is they go down and then they storm back in the second half. So I think the Eagles are going to come out strong in the first half and make it really difficult in the second half.
I'll go with temperature just because the weather app is always wrong.
Just to be contrarian.
And there's a good chance it's going to be -1. And then they go out and they score 0
That's
and
true,
I win.
You never know. Wow. All right.
All right, so my favorite prop bet has to be Eagles touchdowns or blocks by Joel Embiid versus the Pacers.
Okay. Fill
Do
me
you
in.
know who Joel Embiid is?
I know who Joel Embiid is. I don't know what position he plays, though.
Plays center.
Okay.
A good
How
position to get blocks.
How has he been this year?
He's actually been pretty good.
Okay.
Joel Embiid's been on the come up.
Well, I watched Dwight Howard in that Hornets game that I was at last weekend, and I think he had like 4 blocks. So using that as like, let's say Joel Embiid gets 4 blocks. Ooh, that's a tough one. Damn, these handicappers are killing it. I go Eagles touchdowns. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I would go. I think
I go Eagles touchdowns.
I say between 5 and 7 touchdowns for the Eagles.
Nick Foles is posting the highest QBR of any quarterback that played in the postseason this year, and that's it. No, and they haven't lost while wearing a green jersey this year.
They
and the Eagles are wearing green jerseys.
A green jersey. That is crazy, man. Okay. So who do you got then? Who do you got for the game?
I think what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to bet money on the Patriots.
Okay.
And then as a Dolphin fan, I'm just going to root for the Eagles the whole time.
Sure. All right.
And that's going to be my strategy. So I win either way.
All right. How much are you going to put down then?
Enough to cover the spread. Because I can see the Patriots. Because I think the spread is 4.5. I would put in more money. I'm saying to make it even, to make it like a 0-0, like whoever wins.
Oh, you would buy
because I could totally,
Okay.
I could totally see the Patriots winning by like a point.
Yeah, man, this is a tough one for me to call. I mean, like, I really want the Eagles to win. I'm a Donovan McNabb fan. I know he's not on the team anymore, but like,
it would have been funnier if you didn't know that. If you're like Donovan, like they're playing Nick Foles. Where's McNabb?
he's like a 4th string quarterback, right? Yeah, no, he's they were my original team.
Is it bad that I brought someone out here that like knows facts just based off of like Madden 2007?
I play fantasy. I know a little bit. But no, I still remember, I think it was like 2008, I want to say. I don't remember. The 2008 Super Bowl was Pats Eagles again, and Tom Brady ran train on the Eagles. That's back when McNabb was playing quarterback. So for me, I want to see the Eagles win. I don't know what's going to happen, though. If I had to put money down, I would say, I'd probably put like 50 on the Eagles straight up. I don't know what the money line is, but
I think it's 4.5 points.
4.5 points with the money line, though.
It was 4.5 points last time I checked.
Not the spread, the money line.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea
what it is, but all right. Well, we'll see. I'm really excited to watch it. I can't wait.
All right, and then one last piece of information: the last time that a quarterback was playing in the Super Bowl after the starting quarterback brought them to the Super Bowl and went out, it was Tom Brady.
Really?
It's Tom Brady.
Who was the starting quarterback?
I don't know. Whoever is the starting quarterback in whatever year that was.
Oh, that's a fun little fact there. Wow.
I don't do that much research, but I do enough research to know that stat. Someone just yelled that at me today. I work at Starbucks, and I actually quit, so I put in my 2 weeks. But this guy was wearing an Eagles hat, and I was like, oh, like, I was just spitting garbage about him about the game, and he just yelled that stat at me. And he was like, it's Tom Brady. He was like, Nick Foles is going to be the next Tom Brady. And I was like, whatever you say, man.
All right, so if Nick Foles becomes the next Tom Brady, how many years until everybody hates Nick Foles?
I think you would need Bill Belichick to go to the Eagles.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, after all this stuff that's going on in New England with Garoppolo and I want him gone and and he went over Belichick's head and he went to management and all 3 of them are feuding. I could totally see. No, I could never see Belichick anywhere else.
No, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere else.
What if Bill Belichick coached at Alabama and Nick Saban was his offensive coordinator?
That's the show for this week. Thank you for listening this and every week. If you enjoy what you heard, hit the subscribe button. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Kas Podcast. As always, I love you. Michael Drake, you want to promote yourself? You have shows coming up or anything like that?
I don't have any dates coming up, actually. So
he doesn't have any shows coming up or dates lined up. So
I have a girlfriend, though.
If you're
Did you know I have a girlfriend? I feel like we talked about this once.
Now, me and all 21 of our listeners, we all...
I'm not available.
Drake is not available.
Don't come knocking.
Please do not slide into this man's DMs.